All right, Mr. Mott.
All right, it's going to be Caleb.
Sure.
All right, so I did kind of the same thing. Set up meeting, and then have an ask meeting. So my setup meetings are usually like meeting number one or possibly two. The ask meeting would be closing, delivery, or an ad hoc meeting like a review or just kind of out of the blue. So meeting number one, the 5-minute value check-in. Hey Caleb, we covered a lot of ground today, and I would like to take the last 5 minutes of our meeting to make sure that I've addressed all your questions and concerns.
Okay.
All right. How do you feel about the time that we've spent so far together?
It's been good. It's been valuable.
Excellent, excellent. It's great to hear, and I'm going to thoroughly enjoy working with you for many years to come. At some point, I would like to share with you the type of people that I work best with. Would that be okay with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. All right. And then we go to the ask, which would be the closing, delivery, ad hoc meeting. 5-minute value check-in. Caleb, I would like to take the last few minutes of our meeting today to make sure that you are delighted with the work that we are accomplishing together. How do you feel about the planning that we've done thus far, and what we'll be able to accomplish in the future? Let me reword that. That's great to hear. Is it okay if I ask you an important question?
Yep.
There are so many people that could really benefit from this type of service, but just don't know how to get in touch with a competent professional. There's statistics upon statistics that show how people aren't going to be financially secure when they get to the retirement age. A lot of people our age don't even think Social Security is going to be there for us. There's a lot of questions that are circling around. If the opportunity were to ever present itself, would you introduce my services to people that you know?
You bet.
Excellent, excellent. Typically, my clients fall into 3 categories. The first category would be 20% of my clients absolutely hate the idea of giving introductions, will not even think about it. Doesn't sound like that's where you're at, but maybe one of these other 2 categories might fit you closer. 60% of my clients would like to make introductions to people they care about, but aren't sure how. And the other 20% of my clients are actively introducing people to my service without even me needing to bring this up. What would you say that you fall in those?
Probably in the 60% range.
In the 60%? Is it all right if we take a few minutes to share, if I share with you the type of client that I work best with?
Sure.
So the typical clients that I work the best with are married couples. They have children. They're responsible. And their ages between 40 and 55, and most are either federal government employees or they own their own business. I'm sure that 1 or 2 people come to mind. Could you tell me a little bit about them and what their situation is like?
Bobby Sue down the street, federal employee, 55, yada yada.
What are they passionate about?
Retiring early.
The Green Bay Packers.
Love those Wisconsin sports teams.
Do they have any other interests or hobbies?
Outdoorsmen, like to be outdoors, fish, hunt.
And what is it that you like most about them? And what do you admire about them?
Down to earth people, easy to get along with, always willing to help out.
Excellent. And who else comes to mind when we think about who I work best with?
Bob down the street.
Bob?
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about Bob.
What about Bob? Let's see. Bob's a business owner, owns his own chiropractic shop, been in business for about 10 years. Just hired an associate,
Is he married?
Yep.
Is he good?
Wife,
Kids?
2 kids.
Awesome. What is it that you admire about him?
He's got a strong work ethic. Works 6 days a week. He's a good family guy. Divides his time up pretty well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Caleb. If I were to call and introduce myself and offer to be just an additional resource to what they already have in place, do you feel they would be turned off by that?
I don't think so.
Awesome. I don't want to take up any more of your time. So what is the best way that I can get in touch with these 2 families?
Probably via email.
Email? All right. Do you have their email addresses on you?
Yep. I can dig them up.
Excellent. Thank you, and really, I appreciate it. And if you want to let them know that their name came up in conversation today, and that I'll be giving a quick email here in the next couple of days, that'd be awesome.
Sounds good.
Thank you. And then I have a follow-up piece too. I don't remember. Oh, this would be if I'm actually
Email or
If you-
language on the phone?
on the phone language. You guys want me to go through that?
Yeah.
Hey Bob, this is John Mott from Aileron Financial, and we know someone in common. Caleb was just in my office, and your name came up in conversation today. He thinks very highly of you, and thinks you really have a strong work ethic in building your practice and everything else. He also said that some of the other things you have in common, you guys like Green Bay Packers and everything else. Puke. I've been helping some people that are self-employed, and would like to present myself as an additional resource to what you're already doing. Is there a time in the next week or 2 that we could sit down and see if there's anything that I can bring to the table? That's really all I have. You can turn that thing on.
We'll give you the advice
Oh.
on video too. So you'll-
All right, Derek, tear me apart.
Read your first couple lines.
In the what?
Where the first part was. The setup.
The setup?
Yep.
Caleb, we have covered a lot of ground today, and I would like to take the last 5 minutes of our meeting to make sure that I've addressed all of your concerns and questions. Oh, and I think I just stopped there. How do you feel about the time we've spent together so far?
No. Yeah. I don't know that was necessarily
Yes,
a question after
I
that
stopped,
first one.
yeah.
Like,
That was my bad.
yeah. No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure you had that. Sounds like you have a question there.
Yeah.
But okay.
The okay with you part of the setup. I think what I
Okay.
do.
At some point, I would like to share with you the type of people that I work best with. Would that be okay with you? Is that what you're talking about?
I guess you guys can. I'm not sure. I don't want to give them a chance to say no. I
Yes,
probably would
and-
just tell them at some point. I'd like to chance to talk to you about who it is that I work with best. If they want to jump in and say I don't give referrals right there, or give an objection, because it's just a setup conversation, right?
Yeah, so it's a setup. I think I try to avoid that a lot in the actual ask part of it.
You do bring it up one more time.
Do I?
Yeah,
Okay.
is it okay to take the time?
Can I take a few minutes to share with you the type of client that I work best with?
After the 60%,
Yeah, I think that's the spot.
yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
I'd like to take a few minutes and talk about, and I blow through the ask. They can always say no. Not a big deal. I
Yeah,
like
if
to
they're
be
gonna
very
say-
assumptive.
Okay.
If they're gonna say no, they're gonna say no regardless. Whether you get permission from them or not beforehand.
So should I just say these are the type of people that I work best with?
Yeah, or I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about the type of people I work with best. Either way, just be assumptive with it. Originally, when you said, I'm sure 1 or 2 people come to mind, initially I put a frown there, thinking, why are we limiting ourselves to 1 or 2 people? That was the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah.
But then you came back a few minutes later and said, who else? So I see where you're doing is you're trying to get me started with one or two names and came back, so that was brilliant.
Mhm. One of the things that I saw is the line right here. That's great. During the ask, you have the 5-minute value check-in, which is just fine. That's great to hear. Is it okay if I ask you a very important question? I don't know, that almost seems like it's a big event or a big build-up rather than just like a part of the process. If I'm
That's
For
actually
me
a Bill Cates.
personally-
That's a Bill Cates ism, and he does talk
Personally,
about
I
that very issue as making this a big conversation. So that's where that was actually stolen, borrowed from.
Gotcha.
So
It
should
doesn't
I
mean it's good
not
or wrong.
use it?
I thought it was effective, but go ahead and share your thought on it.
No, me personally, I just like to make it seem. You like to get the importance out of it, but it's almost like a soup. For me personally, but maybe it's just my personal style of. It's almost like a huge build-up to where now these people are like, oh, like almost on a. Can I ask you a very important question? Almost to me, it almost feels over dramatic. But I mean, obviously, Kate's is very well at getting a lot of referrals. But just my style is to try to show the importance of it, but make it subtle and just make it seem like another part of the process, another part of the steps that we have. That's just incorporated every time. But that's just me personally.
So I think the question is meant to set up the part where there's so many people that don't benefit from this type of service.
Right.
Right, yeah.
I was
Versus-
listening intently when he brought it up, and I'm like, okay, does this fit or doesn't it fit? I felt like it fit to me. You guys can go back and watch the video,
Like, yeah, I think I have to really be genuine during that piece, but
which I think you did. You looked him in the eye, and
I
I thought you hit it, but again, you can
Yeah.
go back and listen to it.
all right. Well, if it doesn't work, I'll take it out.
And that's all personal style.
Mhm.
And then with the profile, there's still kind of a lot of ands or ors.
Okay.
As in, it's still not really. It's kind of, from what I sound, it was. And I know we touched on that when we kind of ran through that on the phone. But it still seemed kind of a lot of ands or they're this or they're that. I know Caleb had one or in there, but I feel like you had multiple ors. They're a federal government employee or they're self-employed, along with they're married with children, responsible, ages 40 to 55, that are government employees or.
Okay, so what's your profile? Read through what you have.
Married couples with children or adult children. Should I say what I read today, or should I say what is?
Yeah, read it what
Say-
you have, and then we can.
Yeah, read what you have or read the original. We can
All right.
look at all of them.
Responsible and friendly. Ages 40 to 55, or 5 to 10 years from retirement. Most are either federal government employees or they own their own business. And then today I reduced it down to married couples with children, responsible, ages 40 to 55, either federal government employees or they own their own business.
I think just be a little more specific than that. Even if it's outside of that profile, they'll still come to mind for them. And you can kind of go. I mean,
So should I
sometimes I'm still toying with the whole profile thing because usually it's just an ask of the life events for me was my bread and butter. But finding when you say the profile, they'll kind of be like, oh well, I thought of this person, but and then they'll try to say how it doesn't fit in your profile, and you say. You can kind of overcome that by just saying some of these people that you think of won't fit in the profile. And that's completely fine. These are just the people that I find that I work the best with or specialize in.
Mm-hmm.
I like specialize because I can see all of the crossouts from the first conversation we had of the and ors.
Right.
It's just still.
So should I get rid of the
more and ors?
own their own business part, or just kind of tailor it to who I'm talking to?
I'd say probably tailor a little bit, but then it's like the part of your market's going to be obviously the federal.